Hi guys, it's Mark here, and we all know I love Dark Souls, right? So I figured before I throw up a review, like I've already finished the game 3 times now, although because I've co-oped with people, you could probably call it closer to 6 or 7. So anyway, I want to play this game in a bit of a different way to usual. And basically there's been a thing since, as far as I know, since Demon Souls, but I definitely know it was in Dark Souls 1, right? And it's been in Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3 now. And it's a thing called OneBroing, or more specifically, it's a Soul Level 1 run, where you don't level up throughout the game. And that does seem like a decent challenge for me. Like Dark Souls 1, when I first played it, if you you read or listened to my review for that, it was kind of hard for me. But with the more that you play this game, the more you kind of suss out what enemies are going to do, you kind of don't find any difficulty in the game anymore, which is what pisses me off a lot when people say, "Oh, Dark Souls is too hard, guys. I can't beat the first boss." Well, no, you're just fucking retarded. Like, it's not hard at all. You just need to think, okay? So, yeah, basically, it's just playing the game without leveling up. So, here you'll see me fighting the first boss with a club, absolutely naked. But, honestly, it's not too difficult, because, obviously, this boss is kind of slow with his movements, and like all enemies in Dark Souls, he telegraphs his attacks. It's just a case of knowing where the weak spots are, which in this case is his back and that massive black fucking blob sticking out of it. You hit that, you'll get a ton of damage more than what your basic hit would do, and you can take him out very quickly. But anyway, as I was saying, like, this is a Soul Level 1 run. I won't be leveling up, but I will be killing all of the bosses. Now, I say that tentatively. I will definitely be killing Soul of Cinder as, like, the final boss of the game. And I'm not really bothering about spoilers here. Like, it's a Soul Level 1 run. I'm just blitzing through it. I don't really care. Like, if you care about spoilers, you wouldn't be watching this anyway. So, yeah, we'll be killing Soul of Cinder definitely as, like, our end goal. But I would like to be killing all of the bosses, especially, like, the Nameless King. He sprung to mind as the hardest difficulty, like, boss in the original, like, regular playthrough for me. And, while I go off on a tangent here, this is sped up for obvious reasons. Basically, you can glitch up onto this roof, as you will see here, and normally to get up there you'd have to buy the Firekeeper key, which is a little bit further into the game, and then open the tower, go up there and drop down onto the roof, and this will give you access to both these crows, which I could do a fucking fantastic impression of, by the way. If you've, like, got me on Snapchat, I've done that from time to time. But yeah, that's how you get access to the crows, and you can trade various items with them. But you can also come inside and pick up that shard like I did to increase the power of your Estus Flask. And also this ring that will give you more souls. Now, essentially, I don't need the souls, but it will kind of help me get some more items a bit earlier on. And because we're not leveling up, we will be utilizing a lot more of the vendor items than you maybe would in a regular playthrough. So here I'll buy the torch and the whole chainmail set, because the torch will come into play a lot later in the game, but you'll see why it's useful later. And the chainmail set, just to give us a bit more protection than these rags that we're wearing. Like, they're not the best armor anyway, but because of how armor works in this game, you kind of want items in every slot. So that's why we're buying the chainmail stuff, and we luckily just have enough souls to do that. But as I was saying about the bosses, like, in the regular playthrough, I think Nameless King was probably the hardest boss for me to fight. I've since kind of learned his attacks and stuff, but I think it's probably still going to be a bitch to fight on Soul Level 1, like, completely. That if I get hit by the landing of the dragon, I will probably die, I think. And especially if, like, he hits me at all, I'm probably just dead. So that's going to be a couple of deaths added to the death counter that you may or may not have noticed in the top right of the screen there. Now, obviously it wouldn't be Dark Souls without a death counter, but you might be surprised at how many times I'm dying. Like, maybe not so much early on, but I feel that even a bit later into the game, I won't be dying as much as people would think I would be. That's just a thing that I'm throwing out there. I could entirely be wrong, and I could get wrecked 100 times. But we'll see. But yeah, I mean, in terms of bosses that I want to look out for, like, I think up to Abyss Watchers is probably going to be a piece of cake. Abyss Watchers might be a little bit tough, but we'll see how we go with that. After that, you run into High Lord Wolnir. He's not a problem. After that, probably the bosses are going to get hard. Pontiff is going to fucking suck big time. Aldrich is going to suck big time. Oseros is going to suck big time. Yorm I don't really care about. He'll probably die just as easily as he normally does because that fucking sword is stupid. And I don't know why that's even a boss fight, honestly. After that, you've got what? You've got Dancer. No, I'll be doing Dancer way earlier than that, actually. I'll probably be doing Dancer before Abyss Watchers. Like, as long as I don't get caught up in the helicopter move, I'll probably be fine. And then after that, we're going to farm some shards to get our weapons upgraded. So then we'll go on to the Abyss Watchers and whatnot after that. So you got Dancer, then you go up into the castle, you've got the Dragon Slayer armor. Yeah, that's probably going to be a bit tough. Probably going to be very tough. That whole area is fucking hard, like completely solid. Don't ask what just happened. It was very shameful. Anyway, so I'm going to be cutting out a lot of the backtracking and stuff through these runs. I don't know if that's something you want me to do. But I mean, it's something that I think I should do. So let me know. And if we want to change that, then we'll change that. But I think cutting that out is probably for the best. We're going to kill this little crystal lizard. He's actually very important for the run. Because that raw gem will let you convert the broadsword that we get later into a raw broadsword. And now, for those of you who don't know, a raw infusion on a weapon completely removes stat scaling. Now, normally this isn't something you'd want to do because you would be leveling your strength and dexterity, for example. And you would get a higher damage potential out of a weapon than if you like give it a raw infusion or just left it standard. But because we're not leveling, and we've only got 10 strength and 10 dexterity, you turn your weapon raw to give it slightly higher attack damage, especially like in the early game, you'll get a lot more damage out of it. And that's what will let us take out these bosses like as easily as we are. I think I'll probably, like, you might have noticed it there, but I'm going to be putting in like little screenshot kind of things of items that I pick up that I deem as notable. Like this shield, for example, it has 100% physical damage reduction when you block, and that's really good. The broadsword, likewise, is probably the best weapon you can run through in this with, just because of the stats required to equip it is just like decent, and compared to the longsword, it's just straight up better in every way. So I don't know why you would use anything else really. The club attacks too slowly, for example. It might do a bit more damage, but the swords are definitely a lot more versatile. This can be a tricky part, so you want to drop down on that dog to kill it, because the other hollows are very slow, so you can loot the rest of the items. You want to go under here for the shard, and then you want to jump out, That was very close. But yeah, you want to just kill that dog, mainly because that's the only thing that really poses a threat in that situation. Like the axe hollow, the halberd hollow, you can just dodge out of their attacks very easily. But yeah, of course, because this is a soul level 1, like I say, I don't even know if I'm saying the right words now. I'm tired and kind of a little bit tipsy. But anyway, because it's soul level 1, we don't need to worry about looting everything. We don't need to worry about killing everything. Like, half of the time, you'll probably see me running past things. Or killing some things and then remembering that I don't need to kill things and I can just run past them. Because the souls are largely unimportant. We'll get more than enough from bosses to buy the things that we need to buy, which is mainly just the resins and embers and fire bombs that we might need throughout the game. Other than that, we don't need to buy any armor, we don't need to buy any weapons. The only other souls that we're going to be using are to upgrade weapons. And we're obviously going to be picking up a couple of soul items along the way, which we can then sell for souls to upgrade our weapons if we need that. Anyway, we're going to be killing the next boss and then stopping off in the shrine for a quick refresher before we cut for the next episode. I will say ahead of time that I have recorded the first 4 bosses because I am going to Scotland for Insomnia this weekend, which I say this weekend, I mean tomorrow. I'm going on a train and heading up there. So that's going to be fun, but it does mean I can't make videos. So, I mean, for Vort, we're going to Ember up, give us a little bit maximum HP. And then we're going to use a Green Blossom to increase our stamina regeneration. And then we're going to pop a Lightning Resin when the boss fight starts. And that'll give us a little bit more damage. And this will hopefully mean we don't have to spend too much time in his second phase. Like, the first phase is easy, you just stand right underneath him here. And you can just keep swinging and nothing will hit you at all, ever. But when he goes to about half HP, he will go into second phase. And he'll start charging around like a madman. And you do not want to get hit by this attack at all. So you'll just want to be dodging out the way of that every chance you get. And then he'll do a Frost Breath, which will leave him open to attack. Which is when you start wailing on him when your stamina bar is full. Make sure you don't get hit by any of the slams, because they will rapidly build up your frostbite gauge, and that's not good. But if you've got the right, like the resin, and you've got the blossom, you shouldn't have much of an issue with him. Just keep rolling behind him if you can, and he'll be a piece of cake, as you can see there. And then it's simply just a case of walking down here, which is an amazing view, by the way. Like, I know I've just skipped past that, but you can literally see every area in the game bar Lothric Castle from there. Well, and the catacombs, but they kind of don't count because they're underground anyway. So, I mean, you've got the Undead Settlement, which is where we are now. You've got the Farron Woods, which is where we're going to fight the Sage afterwards. Then you've got the Cathedral of the Deep, which is where we fight the Deacons. Then you've got Lothric Castle, which is way behind us up there. But that's irrelevant. That's where we fight Dancer, we fight the last couple bosses. You've got the Farron Swamp itself, which is where you fight the Abyss Watchers. You've got the Catacombs with Wolnir, you've got Anor Londo with Aldrich and Pontiff. It's just really neat how they've included that all in. You can basically see it all from wherever you are on the map. You'll be able to see different things. I just thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, so now we're back at the shrine. We're going to increase our weapon. We're going to infuse it. We're going to level it up a bit. We're going to increase our flask. And we might buy some things from the hag. And that will get us ready to venture into the Undead Settlement in part 2. So I hope you're enjoying this. And let me know any feedback you have. And I'll see you in the next one, guys.